Hey guys, I'm here today to share with you how I make my shabby flowers, and these flowers are totally inspired by Bona, so thank you so much, Bona, for sharing your flowers with us. I wanted to make some this morning, just kind of play around, and I didn't really feel like sewing, so I kind of did my version of shabby flowers without any kind of sewing and just using some materials I had on hand. So the first thing you're going to need is some kind of flower shape. I used the tattered florals from Tim Holtz, and I used the larger flower and then the medium-sized flower here. And you're going to need, for each flower that I made, I needed 4 of this and 4 of this size. You're also going to need a rosette, just a regular size rosette. Optional in the middle, I used a small rosette. You can use this style small rosette, and also I used one of these as well, and these are from Wild Orchid Crafts, and they're really beautiful shabby rosette flowers with some really pretty glitter on the edge, and they come in, I think, like 8 to 10 colors or something, so they're on the Wild Orchid Crafts website. Any really small rosette would be fine. And optional items you can use, in one of my flowers I did use the fibers, and these are from Leonie sent this to me, so thank you so much, Leonie. But if you have fibers that you want to use, another optional element you can add is a doily, and I get mine from Julie, who's the paper bag lady, and she has a wonderful Zibbet shop and sells packs of doilies for very inexpensive, so I'll post a link to her shop below. And so I used a doily on one of them. And then the only other thing is if you want any kind of center in your flower. So I had these teeny pearls that I don't even remember where I got them from, but I added those to some of my centers. So let me show you what I did. Depending on how you want to start or what base you want to use, you can use felt or chipboard. I just have a paper circle here that I cut out with my circle punch. And you're going to need to fold each of your flower layers to look like this. So you're just going to want to put a tiny dab of glue, and this is the glue gun I use. It's from Michaels. It's my favorite. I'm on my 3rd one because apparently I'm very harsh with my glue guns and they break. But you're going to want to fold each of your flower layers like that. So then you'll end up with 4 that look like this. Okay. And then you're going to want to glue them like so. I normally put a dab of glue on either side. I glue 1 layer down like that, and then 1 layer down opposite, so that they're basically forming 1 layer, but because you folded them in half, it's giving more height and more fluff to your flower. And then you're going to want to do that the exact opposite way. So you're going to put 2 dabs of glue in the middle again, but this time you're setting them opposite how you set them the first time. Okay, so there's your bottom layer. Very quick, very simple, no sewing, no fuss. Cutting out the layers from your, if you're using your Tim Holtz die, which I know a lot of us have, or even if you're using some other die, very quick and simple to cut out the layers. Now at this point, if you want to add a doily, depending on the size of your doily, you could add it here. Or you could just go ahead and add your rosette. So on this one, you see I added the doily first, and on this one I just went straight to the rosette. So it is your choice. And of course you could add layers like Bona did with her, she did running stitch on the lace. I just didn't really feel like sewing this morning, so I just wanted to use my glue gun. So there I have my doily. And now to glue my rosettes, I always put just a kind of a circle of glue on the back. And then when I set it down, you have a few seconds to kind of pull it out and make sure that you have a good circular form. And the next part, you're going to need now these, and you're going to need 4 of them, and you're going to fold them in half just like you did with your first flower layer. So just a dab of glue, fold it over, and you want to make sure that you offset the petals. It just gives it more dimension when you're actually putting the flower together. And so you should end up with 4 layers like this. And I do glue all my layers first. It just makes it easier and more efficient when I'm gluing them down to the center. And this part, be careful. I've already gotten 1 blister here and 1 blister there from doing this too quickly. But I put just a little tiny line of glue, and then the trick I found is to really kind of press it down. So I put my other one down at the same time, and then I press down in the middle, because what that does is it's bringing up the flowers on the outside when you press down in the middle. Okay. And you could just leave it like that, but I like to have a little more fluff, so then I add another layer like I did with the bottom layer. And again, going the opposite way with your flowers to just give it more dimension and height. And then you press down in the center, and then it just kind of fluffs up your edges. Now you could, of course, leave your flower. At this point, you could stop it here and add, you know, some kind of little button or some kind of center in the middle. You know, if you have some bow trim, you could even add a little bow, would be cute. I've been putting my small rosettes in the middle, and what you have to do is cut them a little, because if you do that, it's going to cover up the layers, which would be okay because you can see them from the side. But I like to show off a little more on the outside edge, so I do cut just a little bit of the outside. And then when you fluff it up, you can't even really tell because it just looks like a teeny rosette. So yeah, I just cut off the outside, and then I just kind of scrunch it a little, and then it frays up the outside, and it just looks really shabby, and I like the way it looks. So then I put, you know, just a little circle of glue on the back. I'm going to, the same thing I did with the flowers, I press down in the middle. Always press in the middle, that way your edges stand up. And then last but not least, if you want to add a little pearl in the middle, you can add a little flat back pearl, you know, a bead, a couple of beads would even be cute. Or you don't have to add anything really. And there you have just a really simple, easy to make shabby flower using up some stuff you probably already have on hand. And you don't have to cut into a whole lot of your rosettes like you do on the other shabby flowers. I don't mind cutting into rosettes, but I know a lot of you have messaged me and said, well, I would really like to do this tutorial, but I don't like to cut into my rosette. So if you don't like to, you know, you can skip the step where you cut around the edge, but you don't have to cut. You can just use the whole flower here. And you know, they have height to make it nice and shabby, but it's not too much height that you couldn't use it on a card or another project that, you know, you want to remain fairly flat, like a layout or something. If you have any questions, please comment below. I hope you guys find this tutorial helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.